Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. Gotta get in focus. That's right, and I'm back. It's been a couple days, and yeah, I was planning on trying to do something over the weekend, but just didn't get to it. But here I am, so we might as well go ahead and take advantage of it. And I know it's early in the morning, but yeah, I gotta work with what I got to work with. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go early in the morning. It's that simple. You know, if that's the time slot that I have, then it is what it is. So I hope you are up early this morning, and if you ain't, you're gonna have to catch the show a little later once you get the boogers out your eyes. Now look at this. I just realized that yeah, I forgot to add the thumbnail to the video. Well, you know what? It's too late to go and do it now. So I'm gonna have to do it in post-production. The thumbnail has you know who on it. Barack Obama. Embarrassing everybody. Okay, like he always does, like the Democrats do. So good morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And I hope your week even gets better. But I'm gonna try to make it even better. Somebody said good morning from Florida. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nice and cozy and warm. It's getting warmer up here in Ohio, but we still got the little chill going on here every once in a while. It's supposed to go back down to 30, you know. It's playing with my emotions. Went up to like 70. Now it's going back down to 30. I'm like, what do you go? Make up your mind, weather. Make up your mind. You want to be a pancake or a waffle? That's what I want to know. Now, can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I know y'all can see me, you know what I'm saying? I got me a message, you know, and I see a commercials playing. They're trying to sell me a car over here. I guess it's, what is this thing? What does the NK stand for? The KN rather? Nokia? Nokia, is that it? Nokia? I mean, Nokia done come a long way. Remember it first came out, we was all laughing at it. Like, what the heck is a Nokia? Now they got some pretty decent cars. It's kind of like when Toyota first hit the joint. We were like, what is a Toyota? Man, if you don't get that mess, a Honda. Pfft. Now those cars, unfortunately, outrun most cars on the road. But anyway, now I want to go ahead and get to a couple of the stories that we want to talk about today that I wasn't able to catch up with you guys over the weekend or the end of the week and knock these out because I got more. I got more stuff to talk about. Somebody said, watch one of your older videos. Sweet. Good. Check them all out and like them. Like them when you watch them too. Let YouTube know I'm still in business. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get busy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, yeah. My music was in the middle of jamming. I didn't even know it. Like a silverback. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Somebody said they got a Honda that that was how many miles you say was on that Honda? Yeah, because I sold an Acura one time with over 300 something thousand miles on it. My first Acura Integra. That made me a believer. There's three things that I gotta have. I have to have a Jeep. Okay. I gotta have a pickup truck, and I gotta have an Acura. I mean, the Acura is so when everything else breaks down, I'm like, well, I know old Trusty is gonna still be running. But anyway, it is what it is. Now, that number on the screen, 330-974-4607, is the number you can text MAGA to, just in case you want to be in a loop. If they disappear me off here, I can communicate to y'all and let y'all know where to find me. You can also do that by subscribing to my alternative channel. The links are below the videos. And follow me on all the other social media platforms as well. Facebook, all that stuff, the links are below. You want to support the channel, you can do it through my Cash App or my PayPal link. It's up to you. Or the super chat, that's up to you as well, but it'll go straight to me if you do it through the PayPal or my Cash App link. And I like that. I like it when it comes straight to me. And then also, let me see what else. I think there might be, besides hitting the like button and sharing these videos. Now, let's get into it. Y'all, I think we about to go to church and hear a sermon about God and death and the afterlife. I think that's what we're going to hear. I think that's what we're going to hear. Or are we going to hear something else?
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Okay.
and the life that he lived to these homegoing services.
Now, you would hope they would honor Jesse Jackson Jr., okay? I mean, it's odd that he even brought that up because he probably figured in his gut that I already know what's going to happen. If I invite these politicians to come and speak, I know they're going to come in politics first, because that's all the Democrats got. Politics first. So that's why I don't even know why you invite these folks to speak at anything. If you don't want politics, don't invite them to your church if you don't want politics at the church. We've seen it through the campaign trail. Every time they go into mostly black churches, what do? They get up there and they start talking like Jim Crow and the white supremacists. They blew up a church back in. And I was part of the black church and I grew up in a black church, went to a black church all my life, love black people and all of that stuff. Every time they go to a black church, they exploit it. So I don't even know why you invite these folks to come speak. Just have them come sit in the pew and listen. Have a real preacher get up there and talk about life, death, and the afterlife. That's it. That's it. But instead, he tried to give them the heads up. Don't come in here with the politics. Let's see if the Democrats are able to have a little bit of dignity, self-control, and respect for this man's wishes.
Right. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all.
Oh, well, look at
Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative.
What? Now look at that. I mean, hey, I got to give it to his son. I mean, he did open it up to everybody, which I can appreciate that. Maybe he realized that, you know what? My father did receive help from Donald Trump back in the day, even though he kind of sold him out later on, when the heat was on. But nonetheless, I want to make sure that everybody feels welcome to celebrate a little something about Jesse Jackson, or at least respect some of the things that he tried to do earlier when he was younger with Martin Luther King and all of that stuff. I think he came in with good intentions, but I think, the race hustling game, once he realized, wait, I could profit off of that. I mean, he was like, I might as well take advantage of it. Him, Al Sharpton, all of them dudes. Okay. The race hustling industry was born. But nonetheless, okay, I recognize that a lot of people respect Jesse Jackson. So therefore, I mean, if you want to go ahead and say, well, he was an iconic figure, blah, blah, blah. And you would hope that everybody could do that. But see, when you bring in politics, now you start to isolate folks. Now you start to make it seem like Jesse Jackson was only for, liberals, only for, Democrats and stuff like that. And his son is trying to hint to them to behave yourselves. Behave yourselves.
Right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
We only ask people to come and be respectful.
That's it. That's all he's asking for. Just come and be respectful. This is the most simplest thing that you can do, especially considering what is going on with this light. I'm going to have to figure that out. Especially considering that this is Jesse Jackson's son that's asking this. This ain't, some far distant off person that ain't really got. He's directly asking, don't come in here with this mess. But we all know that the Democrats have no self-control and no respect. No respect either.
Context of the extraordinary life that he lived.
A few moments later.
We are living in a time when it can be hard to hope. Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions.
Yep, and it's called the Democrat Party. Now you see what this disobedient speaker did. See, I remember my pastor told somebody to get up there and just do an introduction, with several new, speakers from other churches there. And he just recognized them, said, you want to get up, say something for about 2 minutes. And one guy got up there and tried to go to preaching. Yeah. My pastor looking at the watch. He know he got to get up and speak. But this dude gets up there. And my pastor looking at finally came up there and grabbed that mic. All right, now, that's it. Yes, your time. Go sit down. See, you don't know how to listen. He had to embarrass the dude. He's like, I told you, I gave you specific instructions. Get up there say hello to the people, welcome them, blah, 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 and go sit your tail down. But now you want to get up there and preach. So now I got to snatch the mic. That's what happens to folks who don't listen. But this guy gets up there, and every day we wake up to another, and what is he doing? He's doing exactly what he was told not to do. Bringing in politics and lying about it. Lying about it.
Another setback to the idea of the rule of law.
Like what? They always say that. Setback to the ideal of rule of law. They just throw that out there recklessly. And these folks right there, and this what burns me up. Look at all those black folks. All those little chocolate drops out there. The lady with the big bozo red hair right there in the middle. We got all kind of folks, old, young, and they lap that up. They're not even aware that this dude is being disobedient to the request of Jesse Jackson's son. And he knew that. He knew, let me get up there and give the people what they want. A whole bunch of race baiting, a whole bunch of accusations, because most of these folks in there are suffering from TDS and don't realize the difference between the rule of law. See, that's how Democrats get away with throwing these accusations out there, because they're always accusing Trump of breaking the rule of law. But, they don't really explain what is the rule of law. It's all breaking the rule of law. So let's listen to some more lying and disobedience in the pulpit.
An offense to common decency every day you wake up to.
Like what you're doing right now. An offense to common decency that you can't respect the fact that he said no politics in the pulpit. You supposed to be talking about the life of Jesse Jackson, but you're talking about every day we wake up to the, and I'm saying, are you trying to say that Trump is just out there wilding and America has gone off the rails? Because see, if you're preaching to some sane folks with this mess, they'll throw you out the pulpit. If you're trying to push this message to some folks that actually know what's going on in America, they would tell you to get your stinking, nasty, disobedient butt out of that pulpit and go sit down somewhere, because that's not how we see it. Trump's bringing back the rule of law that you guys broke up and violated. That's why we got to kick out all of these illegal immigrants, because y'all violated the rule of law. That's why we got to do that. But here he is talking about rule of law, and he knows he's going to get the SEALs out there going,
to things you just didn't think were possible.
Yeah, like 12 million illegal immigrants plus coming into our country, and y'all lying to us the whole time.
Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other.
Now, isn't this ironic? This is exactly what the Democrats do every single day. You got to fear the white supremacists. You got to fear the misogynists, the transphobes. You got to fear the xenophobes, the homophobes. You got to fear but yet they tell you that we're the ones that's pushing hatred and all of that stuff into our society. And then that fear that they push into their bubble heads is transferred into violence against conservatives. There it is. It's unjustified, irrational fear. They operate off of division and fear. See, that's why they focus on black. They focus on, Asian, Latino, and not Americans. That's what they operate off of. And then he's doing it right there in the pulpit.
And that some Americans count more than others. And that's...
How does he even come up with this? Now, if I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., I'm sitting over there furious. I'm sitting over there like, okay, see? And you think I ain't going to get up here and say something about this. I told y'all. Don't bring politics into this. Now, what is he talking about? Some Americans mean more to others, than other Americans. And I'm saying, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the illegal immigrants? And it's not that we feel our lives are better than theirs and we mean more than them. It's just they're not here legally. But now, I guess you're suggesting that Trump is in there just slinging out racism and just talking about, these Americans over here in this area, they don't mean as much. Somebody said I had to shut his mic down. That's what they should have did. They should have hit him with some feedback. Yeah, make it uncomfortable for him every time he's trying to talk. And otherwise, I'm getting a little feedback there. Can you clear that up? No. You're going to have to speak over the feedback. That's what you're going to have to do. But now he's talking about we feel like there's other American lives that are better than others.
Some don't even count at all.
Some don't
Everywhere
count
we
at all.
see greed and bigotry being celebrated and bullying.
Just buzzwords. You know, buzzwords to get up under people's skin and make them feel like they're victims, they're under attack. Greed, bigotry, and bullying. Could be also translated into rational, common sense, recognizing stuff like, hey, maybe, okay, kids shouldn't be going through transition. That's bullying them, though. Maybe men shouldn't be in women's bathrooms. That's bullying them, though. Yeah, that right there is bigotry. Maybe illegal immigrants, whether they're white, black, or otherwise, shouldn't be in our country. That's bigotry. So you see how they translate all of the rational, common sense things that we observe in our society into hate, bigotry, and all of this stuff. And I'm saying, no, it's just observations. It's just looking at what is and calling it the way it is. But because y'all can't justify it, you got to say it's hate and bigotry and stuff like that.
And mockery masquerading as strength.
There we go.
We see science and expertise denigrated while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards every single day.
Now, I thought this was about Jesse Jackson. Now we're talking about science. Yeah, how do you get out there, that far out on your sermon there, buddy? I think you might want to get back to the text. He's talking about science and bigotry and hatred every day. And I'm saying, what are you talking about? You would think we were living in the 1920s or something like that. And the only people who are manipulating science for their own, glory is you guys. Trying to sell us on the Green New Scam and force that mess down our throat for more control. That's right. I think it was you guys who lied about that shot that y'all forced a lot of people to get. I think it was you guys that locked folks in their crib. That's what it was. I think it was you guys. And here you are talking about and setting aside science and pseudoscience. That's what that is. But let's see some more about the sermon, because I ain't heard nothing about Jesse Jackson yet. I'm hearing a lot about, Trump. Because, see, if I read between the lines, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Trump and MAGA.
See that? And it's hard to hope.
Whoa. We got another one. Now, do you think any of these dudes can get up there and do what they were asked to do? Huh? You got 3 former politicians who were disgraced and embarrassed by Trump. And they can't get over it. They're always thinking about the next move. We got to keep these black folks mentally enslaved to the Democrat Party by pushing more hatred towards Trump and what's going on around the country so they can't see how great the country's doing. So here we go. Now, I'm surprised they let this dude out the basement. So let's see what his 2 brain cells got to say.
Spot, folks. We got an administration that doesn't share any of the values that we have.
Don't share any of the values that we have. Now, you hear that? We got an administration that don't share any of the values that we have. So that's just an assumption. Creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe. So let me check on these values. Values like sniffing and kissing all over little kids against their will. Values like that. Values like abortion all the way up to the 3rd trimester. You mean those kind of values? You mean values like letting little boys and girls go through transition? You mean those type of values? Yeah, those values? Values that allow crime to run rampant? Values that allow legal immigrants to take the place of American citizens? Those type of values? Values like trying to get American citizens guns and trying to, make sure folks can't use their freedom of speech? Those type of values? I'm wondering. And you're talking about they don't share our type of values. And I'm saying, now, wait a minute. You're right about that. If those are your values, we sure don't. They ain't on it, but let's continue, though. Because, see, these people who are ignorant up in here, they don't realize that. See, yeah, they think when it comes down to values, the only thing that matters is racism. That's it. That is it. They don't think that, wait a minute, I'm a Christian. And what values did the Democrat Party have? Oh, abortion, more abortion. They love that. Yeah, all the way up to the 3rd trimester. Yeah, I wonder if the church can celebrate that. I wonder if they can celebrate that. Or you know what, transitioning and all of that, and all that stuff. I wonder if they don't clap to that. See, in their mind, the only thing they think about, they don't think about all that other slop that the Democrat Party support and represent. They're only thinking he must be talking about racism. And that's how they get him. That's how they get him.
I don't think I'm exaggerating a little bit. So, he knew who we were at our best.
Y'all hear that? Oh, he went back to them R's. He knew. Hey, Scooby. No, yeah, hey, Shaggy. But let's finish hearing him roll those R's.
And he simply refused to let us off the hook as a party, as a nation, or as individuals. And time and again, in triumph and turmoil, with relentless insistence on what is right and just, he helped lead us closer to fulfilling our nation's promise of restoring the nation's soul. He used his gifts to influence generations of Americans.
Read them lines.
And countless elected officials, including presidents, as you see here today. And though through his impassioned words on the campaign trail and through moments of quiet courage, Jesse changed history in ways numerous and profound. If I told you all earlier, when I was a kid, I had a cleft palate,
you'd be lying. That's what you'd be doing. You'd be lying like you always do. So now let's hear, all this made up backstory about Joe Biden and all of this stuff, because somehow he got to insert himself. He got to insert himself in it.
Or club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid.
No, Joe. We don't think you're stupid because you have this made up stuttering problem. We think you're stupid because you're stupid. You say stupid things. You do stupid things. There it is. That's why we think you're stupid. And that's why. You get up there and you talk about, God, Uncle Finnegan and Grandpa eaten by a pigman. And I used to drive a semi-truck. Wait a minute, is that a squirrel? I'll be right back. You know what? Wait, where am I going? Who am I? Wait, which way do? That's why. That's why we say that, Joe. Has nothing to do with your made-up stuttering.
Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you.
Oh, now you're just going to go ahead and say that? What? Smarter than who? I highly doubt that. If anything, Joe, even the old Joe, most likely was a heck of a lot more corrupt and evil than all of us. That's about it. When it comes down to the smarts, you were never the brightest light bulb, but you definitely are one of the most corrupt.
By the way, the continent of Africa is going to be the largest continent in the world in terms of population by the year.
What that got to do with Jesse? What that got to do with anything? You see what they could always try to virtue signal. Now he got you, look, I'm sitting in front of black folks. Yeah, I'm going to let him know that you're on the rise. Now, if that was a whole bunch of Latinos, he'd be like, in the year 2030, there's going to be more Latinos than, depending on what crowd he's talking to. But nonetheless, he wants to pander to them as if that's meaningful. As if that's going to make them go, well, I'm glad that, wait a minute, are we African? Are we over? This is America, last I checked. What does Africa got to do with us? Oh, you're pandering. You think we're going to go back to our slave roots or something? Unbelievable.
2050 is large in the entire world. Watch, man. Watch.
The drunk aunt. They didn't let her out. Should we let her speak? I don't know. Has she been drinking? Anybody smell her breath? I don't know. I mean, it's a risk. All right, now Auntie, we're going to let you get up there and say some things, but make it quick now. You know what? Thank you, baby. Let me go up there. All right, now, you know what?
So let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
Oh, no. We predicted a lot about what would have happened if your raggedy stinking butt would have won. If they would have won, Iran would have those nukes by now. If you would have won, we would have probably about 30,000 illegal immigrants in the country, and they would all have amnesty. Yeah, if you would have won, crime would be running rampant all over the place. Yeah, China would be getting bigger, richer, fatter, stronger. Russia, running all over the place. Everybody would have been acting a fool if you would have won. Now I'm sitting here going, well, wait a minute. What is this prediction you're talking about? You're just saying I predicted this would happen, as if these black folks right here just are going to run through their database in their head and imagine all of the things that's going wrong without checking in with reality. See, that's what she's banking on.
I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming.
No, we didn't. Everything I predicted would happen is going the way I thought it would. I'm loving it. I'm sitting there going, yes, we're getting illegals out of here. Crime is down. He's working on the economy. Yeah, he's repositioning us long term on the globe when it comes down to our geopolitical enemies and stuff like that. He's keeping America first. He's working on them trade agreements. Yes, I'm liking it. What are you referring to, chameleon? See, but once again, they got these people brainwashed in their head. Everything is going wrong. Racism is on the rise. That they're always being chased around by white supremacists riding around in pickups with flags and stuff like that. You know what? There's folks riding around their houses on horses and white sheets. Yeah, they can't go to vote. It's white people like, don't you come in here, you black woman. You ain't allowed to vote. Okay? Yeah, all of that's going on in their heads, though, because these people have been pumping their heads with all of this trash.
Well, what I did not predict is that we would not have Jesse Jackson with us right now to help us get through this.
To help us get through what? What are you going through? Isn't it fascinating how Democrats are the biggest liars of reality? They swear up and down, we're going through this struggle all the time. Even if they were in power, they would still be saying the same thing. They've been saying this forever so they can stay in power. That's their whole MO. They could be running their whole city with Democrats from top down, and they'll tell all those dummies who vote for them, we're going through things, everybody's against us, the struggle is real. They could be rich, famous, powerful, and they'll tell you that I'm going through things, and as a black person, I'm going, are you kidding me? What are we going through again? I'm trying to understand. I felt like I was going through a lot more, or at least the potential of going through a lot more under Joe Biden than I am Trump. One of the biggest things I felt like I was going through under Joe Biden was being pressured to get that shot. That's what I felt. Yeah, I felt like if I get on the internet and vocalize how I feel about things a little too much, that who knows? I might get up on a list, pop up on a list. I definitely would get censored and all of that stuff. That's why my channel won't grow to this day. Yeah, I spoke a little too much about that. Yeah, and here she is. I thought we're going through things, and I'm going, what are you talking? What things are we going through? Oh, you might be referring to your precious illegal immigrants, or what? Or is this all a figment of everybody's imagination in there to clap to that? Well, let's see how Jesse Jackson Jr. responded to these three race baiters who did exactly the opposite of what he asked them to do.
I listened for several hours of three United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected.
You hear this rebuke? Oh, now I got to give it to him. I'm glad that he was able to get up there and recognize that these three dodo birds did exactly the opposite of what he asked them to do. But see, now these folks are clapping. Now that he's getting up here recognizing and saying, look, these folks were disobedient. They got up there and did exactly what I told them not to. Now they clapping. But yet, when those dodo birds were in there pushing politics like he asked them not to, they also was clapping. See, that's the problem with these folks right here. And they have no moral compass. They're not able to see through the shite. And so now he's up here chastising them and rebuking them, and they go, yeah.
Demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice.
Wow. So I wonder how they felt after that. Yeah, nothing. They don't care. Yeah, they're like, you know what? It's going to be a hit. It's going to be a hit and run. That's what we're going to do. I mean, I don't care what you asked us to do. Once we get in there and feed our propaganda to the people, they'll forget. That's what they'll do. We'll go in there. We'll hit them with that. You can get up there and say whatever you want afterwards. And they're still going to support us anyway. They're still going to say, well, I mean, I get it. They might have did what he didn't tell them to do. But they sure did keep it real. Yeah, real trashy. Real, deceitful. That's all they did. And you had those clowns in there. Yes. Man, Democrats always in deceit mode, always in politician mode. And you cannot catch them ever where they can just act normal, just be a human. It's constant, politics and Trump did this and conservatives this and racism this and discrimination. And we're always in this struggle. Is there ever a time of peace? I mean, what's the solution to all of the atrocities, all of the oppression? That's what I want to know. I mean, is there ever a point where we get to utopia for the Democrat? No, because then they go out of business. They won't be able to go up in the churches and talk about back in the 60s where the Ku Klux Klan came in and all of that stuff. They won't be able to get up there and talk about the Jim Crow and you know what? They're trying to suppress the black vote. And they won't be able to do that. And when folks stop looking at everybody in these little, divided groups, then how are they going to win? How are they going to win? Then they got to talk about policies, and they can't do that. Speaking of policies, let's go to CNN because CNN is still trying to double dutch between supporting the war with Iran and then, of course, trashing Trump. If they could do both, they would. See, if this was Joe Biden with his weak, feckless self or Kamala Harris, and they decided to do this, then they wouldn't have a problem with it. They'd be going, this is the greatest thing. This is a president that's decisive. And this is the courage that's right now being on display. And this is it. But see, because it's Trump, even though they might be saying, man, this could work out really good if it's done right. But they can never say that. So now they got to say, well, you know what? We understand that the regime was bad and they did a lot of bad stuff. But is this the right way to go about it? So let's see how Scott handles them.
Have some impact on the economy of China because that's where they get their oil from Iran.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to see the broader picture with this whole thing. And I'm not just, suffering from Israel derangement syndrome. Yeah, I mean, granted, I support Israel and this is going to benefit them. But boy, now that I look at it, Iran has been a pain in everybody's butt. Everybody's butt. Even Arab countries. But definitely, they've been snoozing and cozying up to our enemies. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, they also been threatening us openly. And they also been, working on getting, hypersonic missiles, which right now is pretty impossible to stop and shoot out the sky. And that could be a problem. That could be a problem. And they definitely are going to work on nuclear weapons because they just, their whole hell bent on blowing up the infidels. That might be a problem. Should we just sit around and wait for all of that to develop before we do something? I'm just thinking out loud. Because I'm hearing a lot of Democrats and stuff say it's just not an imminent threat. So let's wait till it is. Yeah, it's just like they say with the police. It's not an imminent threat. Renee Good, he should have waited until she ran him over and he was under the vehicle before he pulled his weapon out. That's what he should have did. That when they have to shoot some of these people, the police should wait till they're shot first before they shoot. That's an imminent threat to the Democrats. So let's hear Scott try to break down some reason besides, well, we just all try to do what Israel say, some other reasons why maybe this is a good idea.
And what we did in Venezuela, what we did in China, and what we did in Iran has as much to do with China, I think, as anything. I also want to say, may God rest the souls of those troops, but they died in a noble cause. And as Buddy said, 47 years, Americans are dead, the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. I totally disagree with you about the threat not being imminent.
Me too. 47 years of talking trash? How many of y'all could tolerate 47 years of trash talking? Dang on it. I can only take about 2 or 3 minutes of that. Man, who you looking at, man? You don't want, yeah, I bet you what. You know what I do to you? They got about 2 minutes of that. And I'm going, hey man, get out my face now. Look, are you threatening me? Look, you better go on somewhere. Okay. Now I got a problem here. You won't shut your mouth and move on. See, I'm not going to initiate nothing, but hey, Now you extend that to 47 years, and not only just trash talking, but also, little hit there, little terrorism there, kill a couple Americans here and there. So it sounds as if they've been at war with us for about 47 years. And we have never stopped and said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put our foot all the way up their butt. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to just say, hey, look, you know what? Now, stop playing, y'all. We're going to finally say, you know what? We've been hearing y'all threaten us for 47 years. You done killed a lot of Americans, okay? And you're showing no signs of changing your nasty attitude. So what do you want us to do? Sit around and wait until you're an imminent threat? Unbelievable.
I spoke to very senior administration officials yesterday. They believe that the Iranian regime was about to fire ballistic missiles, not at the United States, but into U.S. military bases and civilian targets.
The guy who's going.
So now none of these people have the intel. And the Democrats who claim that they go in and sit in these things, they always come out and lie. Because their goal is not to talk about the truth and what we're up to and why we have to do this, is to undermine the whole operation. They're hoping that this fails. They're hoping that it all falls to pieces. That's what they're hoping. And these folks come out and they like to sow little doubt. That's what they're doing. Yeah, they like to sow little doubt. Now, I'm under the belief that if Trump and all of them say, you know what, this is important, we got to do it, it's important and we got to do it. Because I don't think Trump wasting or risking American lives like the Democrats do and like other Republicans in the past have done. Yeah, they don't care how many Ukrainians get slaughtered over there. Long as they're sending money and probably getting kicked back over here, just keep sending them. Keep sending them. They didn't care about how many folks over all those years we were overseas in Iraq and Syria and all them folks were getting killed. And they didn't care about that. Joe Biden, sure enough, didn't care when he just snatched us out of Afghanistan, left our, soldiers vulnerable, and 13 of them got blown up. And you know why he didn't care? Because he was ready to go. He was ready to go. He's looking at the guy. How long is this going to take? I need my pudding. Yeah, they didn't care about that. But now all of a sudden they're all concerned about our troops being put in danger and all of this stuff. And what if this doesn't work out?
To bring peace and not start wars.
Yeah, and he is bringing peace. Iran has been at war with us for 47 years.
Thank you. That's how you bring peace. See, they think peace is going to come through harsh language. When you look at some of the greatest conflicts that ever took place on the earth, if the good guys won, it came through having to put their foot up the other person's butt. And once you get beat up, you're talking about something about peace. No mas, no mas. And you watch the UFC. If you don't tap somebody out or knock them out, they're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep fighting. But when they get that arm in that arm bar and they start feeling that pressure immediately, that means peace. No mas. Yeah, I feel the pressure. Okay, you're about to break it. But as long as I'm in there with confidence, thinking I got it. Yeah, you slipping them. I'm going to keep fighting with all confidence. You got to show them that, you know what? I'm going to show you, that I'm going to have to break you down all the way to the point where you have no other option but to let me break this arm or tap out and say no mas. And Iran was one of those countries. There's other countries like, Venezuela, who they felt the arm bar. They felt the pressure. Okay, I don't know if you've ever done any mixed martial arts. If you ever had get yourself in a rear naked choke. It's an uncomfortable feeling. You have very limited options. You're like, oh, when they put it in, it's in real good. I ain't talking about kind of just work. I'm talking about it's in real good. They got the legs wrapped around you. You can't squirm. You can't wiggle and roll. And you feel that esophagus getting tight. You got two choices. Either you go to sleep and you're at the mercy of them, whether they want to choke you to death or not, or you go, no mas. When you feel that pressure on that elbow from an arm bar, and you know that they warning you, like you feel, I'm in total control right now. Now, either you tap or I'm going to break this bad boy. You got options, man. And I've seen dudes who did exactly what Iran has been doing. They refuse to tap and snap. If you don't tap, snap. That's what you're going to get. And they wouldn't tap, so now they got snap. That's how I see it. I don't know how I be coming up with all these crazy analogies and comparisons, but that's the truth. If you don't tap, snap.
The central pillar of the regime is death to America.
Oh.
The other pillar is death to Israel, who is our ally.
Yeah.
They have been at war with us. They have been killing American personnel and American soldiers for nearly 5 decades.
That's a long time of killing and getting away with it. That's what that is. Long time of killing and getting away with it. And that could be why they're so confident. Because they know, long as they don't, go too far on the killing. Couple hundred here, couple dozen there. Space it out a little bit. Use some proxies to do a little of that killing and all of that stuff. But the whole time, though, you definitely still talking trash, yo. You're still talking trash. You're like, you wait till we get the nuclear weapons, death to America. We will kill the infidels. And we're tolerating that? They like, don't go too far because we're not ready right now with our weaponry. Okay, we don't want them to go ahead and stop us before we're unstoppable. We don't want that. So don't kill too many at a time. Just kill a couple here and there. And long as we got weak leaders who tolerate that and do nothing but give harsh language, talking about, now you guys better cut it out. Now you're not working on that program anymore, are you? And are you still talking about death to America? Absolutely. Death to America. And you're going, I don't like when you say those things. That makes me think you want to kill us. Absolutely, we want to kill you. Well, I mean, you don't really mean that, do you? Because I don't want to feel like I'm Islamophobic by believing you when you're telling us death to America. Hey, I don't want to feel Islamophobic, so we're going to let you guys continue doing what you're doing until it's a problem that we can't solve. So any way this works out, it still was a problem we had to deal with because either we're going to confront it now when it's easier to confront, or we'll confront it later when it ain't so easy.
This is not an attempt to start a war. This is an attempt to prevent further conflict. This is an attempt to get the largest state sponsor of terror off the field. This is an attempt to stabilize the Middle East. I don't view this actually as starting a war as much as ending the people who are the preeminent terror threat in the world.
And the funny part is majority of their people want them done. That's the crazy part about it. They're more radical than their people. They force them to pretend to be radical. Yeah, they're on that North Korea stuff. Got folks out there acting like they just love the supreme being. But nonetheless, they're pretty radical. I would be concerned when I'm going, these dudes are religiously motivated. I'm a little concerned about that. They've overridden their self-preservation. Yeah, they're sitting back going, it is honor to die for Allah. Yeah, for killing the infidels. I'm going, I don't want you to die for Allah by blowing all of us up. Yeah, I want you to stop and think, wait a minute. Let's be reasonable here. Nobody wants to get killed. But no, not when you're talking about, it's an honor. I'm going, no. If you die, it's because you have to, not because you chose to, thinking this is an honor to die for. No, I don't like that attitude.
They're at war with everybody. They're at war with us, and they're at war with Western civilization.
Yeah, man. Iran's leadership is just angry, mad, wanting to fight everybody, swinging on everybody. You're like, dudes, calm down. We trying to help you. Unbelievable.
Okay, so this is a serious question.
Here we go.
Because we have seen regimes fall and countries not be stabilized.
Yeah.
And so what's next?
What's next?
Well,
What's next? I don't know what is next, but I know what was coming. See, that's the one thing I do know. See, so yeah, you can dibble and dabble on what's next. But one thing you pretty much knew what was coming is if they got their hands on some stuff that made us not be able to make an attack like this on them without major losses, major consequences, you don't think they would have used that mess? Oh, yeah, somebody said her eyes. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, she might have that disease where you can poke your eyeballs out the socket. Good grief. But yet she ain't got the ability to pull them back in. Hers is like that all the time. Good grief. Those eyeballs are extended, man. But let's continue, though, with those Roger Rabbit eyes she got.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, what if we leave a country that for the next 47 years kills Americans, kills American personnel, funds terror around the world? That's what we have now.
Yeah, that's what we have now. So I guess you just wanted it to continue like that and let them keep stringing us along, false promises, fake negotiations. That's right. Keep us all in the gray area until we get enough weaponry to where you can't do nothing about it. Then all the negotiations stop at that point. Ain't no more negotiations. It's just like, okay, now what y'all gonna do? See, so, but here she is. I wonder I know what would have happened if we didn't. And I know it's going to be a long road to recovery now that the majority of their military is destroyed. I'm just saying. See, it's real hard to go ahead and be talking about we're waging war and you have no military at all. You got your whole Navy, Air Force wiped out, all of your missiles. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty hard. There's a lot of rebuilding that needs to take place.
That's what we couldn't have it any worse now. What comes next?
We couldn't. We actually don't know. We actually don't know.
How can it be worse right now? I mean, the only thing worse that could happen is Russia and China come in and say, all right, we're willing to die over our crazy friend. And nobody's willing to do that. They all know that Iran is a wild, loose cannon. Everything with them is transactional. Russia's not suicidal. Russia's been over there nursing the war for about 3 or 4 years now with dang on Ukraine. And they're sitting there going, we can't afford to jump into a whole nother war over them dudes who we knew at some point was going to go too far. They're that cousin that's always in the streets fighting, calling you up like, yo, man, come down here, man. These dudes is tripping, man. And you going, You're the cousin that would get me killed. See, I see you at the picnic. I see you at the family reunion. But every time you call me talking about they tripping, man, come on down here. I'm going, you get in a lot of trouble. You seem to always be in an I'm tripping spot, somebody tripping spot. You're going to get me jacked up because you're crazy. I already know. I'm going to get a phone call one day like, your boy finally got his butt whooped. So you think China is willing to risk their whole country because of Iran? They gave them empty promises and threats. The best we could do, buddy, is give you a bunch of weapons and help you with your economy while you help us with our economy. But that's about it. I mean, we know y'all reckless out there. See, we're not motivated by religion. We're not motivated. We're motivated by global domination and self-preservation. Same thing with Russia. But we know we got a crazy cousin that's always over there like, man, shoot, one day we all got to come together and kill. We got to kill. And you're going, okay. Anyway, so what's been up with you? More killing? More killing? You like, we got us a crazy cousin. We can't let them get us killed. And that's what's going on. That's the only worst scenario that can happen right now is Russia and China decide to risk their whole country for these crazy folks. They knew it was coming at some point. They knew it was a possibility Iran would go too far because they're always talking about what? Going too far. So that's pretty much it. Or somebody come in and they got a hidden nuclear weapon somewhere that we don't know about. But other than that, I'm going, I mean, I don't see the downside so far. So far.
Actually,
That the Iranian people rise up and take control of their country.
we don't.
Of this deal have already been said.
Now look at this. This is beautiful. Because we just heard Scott Jennings try to talk some logic. Listen to Marco Rubio back in the day do something that is so beautiful, which is a politician who does foreshadowing. See, these are the intelligence and the wisdom that I expect out of our politicians. So not only has Trump been talking about the problem with Iran for years with consistency, Marco Rubio hit it right on the head. And that's why he's doing such a great job, because he sees the future and he hasn't changed, and he ain't wishy-washy like the Democrats and some Republicans. So let's listen to what he was saying years ago about the threat of Iran and see how accurate it is.
We don't.
Of this deal have already been said. I do want to be recorded for history's purposes.
For history.
Before I know what is going to happen in regards to this if it goes through. Iran will immediately use the money that it's receiving in sanctions relief to begin to build up its conventional capabilities.
True.
It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region.
Bam!
They're going to build anti-access capabilities, rockets capable of destroying our aircraft carriers and ships. Continue to build these swift boats that are able to come on us, these fast boats that are able to swarm our naval assets.
If we were in church, I would think Marco Rubio was a prophet or something. This man is right on point.
And they'll make it harder and harder for U.S. troops to be in the region. They'll also work with other terrorist groups in the region to target American servicemen and women. And they may or may not deny that they're involved, but they will target us and raise the price of our presence in the Middle East.
Does he have a crystal ball? Does Marco Rubio have a crystal ball? But you know what though? All the smart people who saw the writing on the wall and saw the history of Iran was able to see that coming. Except other dumb politicians. Yeah, I guess the dummies right now that's still running around talking about they weren't an imminent threat, they weren't a threat. And I'm going, everything he's saying, that's exactly what they were doing. And that's what they're still doing. And that's why we had to stop them from doing it. So y'all were going to sit back and nurse it until it's a problem. It's not an imminent threat. I know I got this spot on my liver, but it's not that bad yet. I'm going to wait until it's an imminent threat out there. My whole liver's gone. Oh, wow, we can't do nothing about it. If you were to go ahead and allow us to deal with this a couple years ago, but you felt it was an imminent threat. So he is calling it out.
Until they hope to completely pull us out of that region.
Yeah.
They'll also continue to build long-range missiles.
What?
Missiles capable of reaching the United States. Those are not affected by this deal, and they'll continue to build them as they've been doing. And then at some point in the near future, when the time is right, they will build a nuclear weapon.
Look at this.
And they will do so because at that point they will know that they have become immune, that we will no longer be able to strike their nuclear program because the price of doing so will be too high.
Bam! Man, now if he could see it back then, I'm going, I can see it. And if they're already pretty much in that process right now, if they were getting close to that point, you don't think I could foreshadow and see the rest? I mean, if they were as close as they are to getting all of this stuff, yeah, China talking about working with them with long-range missiles and all of that stuff, that's almost more scary than the nuclear weapons. Getting hold to some hypersonic missiles, I'm sitting there going, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So now I'm hearing him say that, and this was in 2015, and everything he said was coming true. Now, imagine if it would have stayed on that same process. You think it would have got better on its own? Here it is. I don't get no chemo on that spot on my liver, but it'll clear up on its own. You can predict the process. You can say, okay, if I don't deal with this spot, if I don't deal with this little, cancer spot or somewhere and get it taken out, it's not going to get better. From positive thinking, rubbing salve on it and stuff like that. I got to get that mess cut out. I got to get it dealt with because the natural process is, here's the natural conclusion. It's going to get to a point where they're going to say it's too far gone. That's what's going to happen. Same thing. He predicted it up to this point. I'm saying, well, yeah, he was right about that. So most likely, if we would have allowed them to continue, it would have got right to the point where he's going, yeah, we can't do nothing about them. Now, what evidence do we have of something like this happening? He's going to give us an example. And I said this a long time ago as well. Look who he uses as an example.
This is not just the work of imagination. It exists in the world today. It's called North Korea.
Oh, bam. So we got historical examples. Now, back when Trump had to deal with that problem with Little Rocket Man, I was saying, how many years have we had the chance to deal with it? What? Wait a minute. They started when? And what? 2-3 presidents done went by giving empty threats. Now all of a sudden, these dudes got their nuclear weapon, and now we got to sit back and say, okay, look, man, all right, don't shoot the weapons. Okay, look, okay, stop, calm down now. Look, we might do something to y'all if y'all keep short. And look, if y'all gonna make it, it's too late. Kim Jong-un is going, yeah, you can take me out if you want, but I'm gonna take a whole bunch of people with me. So, yeah, Trump managed to call his bluff and let him know that, hey, if we have to, we will take you out. But you best believe he would have tried to take a whole bunch of other folks with him. And so we allowed that monster to grow. We allowed it to grow. You would think we learned from that. You'd think we learned from that. And I'm sure that Iran was looking over there like, if we could do what the North Koreans did, then we'll have leverage to talk more trash without them being able to do nothing.
Where a lunatic possesses dozens of nuclear weapons.
You don't want that.
And a long-range rocket that can already reach the United States. And we cannot do anything about it.
Nope.
An attack on North Korea today would result in an attack on Tokyo.
And this was in 2015. See, I can respect a politician with that type of wisdom where you say, I'm going to do things to prevent our country from danger in the future. I'm not just thinking day to day. Yeah, I got to think domestically and non-domestically. I got to think about, what my enemies are doing. I got to play some chess, man. What's going to happen if we don't deal with this? If I say, well, you know what, it's not a problem right now, but I put America in a position that it is a problem 5 years ago. And I knew it would be a problem, but I didn't deal with it. I'm like, you know what, I don't want to come across as to this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to come across as a... And I'm saying, no, I trust you. You're not a natural warmonger. You're not like the rest of those politicians who drug us in the under. I can see the logic behind what we're doing right here. Long as I can see that, I'm like, then we got to do what we got to do. If it start getting gray and I'm saying, well, I can't do any foreshadowing with that, I have no idea why, then I'll probably have a bigger objection. But I can rationally see why we're doing this. I'm saying, yeah, I don't want to wake up one day talking about, well, we made sure we were isolationists and we didn't do this and that. 5 years later, we can't do nothing about it. So Marco Rubio he dropped some wisdom here and he's dead on. You wouldn't even know that this was in 2015. You would think this speech was right now.
Or Seoul, or Guam, or Hawaii, or California. And so the world must now live with a lunatic in possession of nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And this is the goal Iran has as well, to reach a point where they become immune to any sort of credible military threat because the price of a military strike would be too high. Iran is led by a supreme leader who is a radical Shia cleric with an apocalyptic vision of the future. He is not a traditional geopolitical actor.
No. See, like I said earlier, he's not thinking rationally. Those guys over there ain't talking about, we just want to make sure that we're not invaded and there's a regime change. No, it's like our goal is to wipe everybody off the map that ain't radically, Islamic.
Who makes decisions on the basis of borders or simply history or because of ambitions. He has an religious apocalyptic vision of the future, one that calls for triggering a conflict between the non-Muslim world and the Muslim world.
That's a problem.
One that he feels especially obligated to trigger.
Yeah.
And he's going to possess nuclear weapons. This is the world that we are on the verge of leaving our children to inherit.
Yeah. And see, that's what I'm talking about when it comes down to a good leader who doesn't just plan for the now, but also plan for the then, who's saying, yo, I see the writing on the wall. I see these actors positioning themselves and we're just letting it happen. I see China expanding their reach. I see them extending their territory, trying to move into the Pacific. I see that. Am I supposed to ignore that? Am I supposed to put America in a worse position because I'm going, well, until they do it, I don't want to. And they're relying on that. They're relying on us being globalists. They're relying on us trying to appease the rest of the globe and show that we're no longer the imperialistic countries that do all of this and this and that. We're going to go ahead and allow ourselves to become like England and some other European countries who are now neutered, full-blown neutered. And I'm saying nobody's worried about England no more. They used to be like number 2. And now they're going, England, man, them cats are scrubs. Yeah, and they sit there going, wait a minute, who the France? Man, get France out of here. Get France out of here. Yeah, unbelievable.
Iran may have a supreme leader, but America does not. In this nation, we have a republic. And soon we will have new leaders, perhaps in this chamber, but also in the executive branch.
And we did. It was called Trump.
And I pray that on their first day in office, they will reverse this deal and reimpose the sanctions and back them up with a credible threat of military force.
Yeah.
Or history will condemn us for not doing what needed to be done at this critical moment in the world's history.
And we got a lot of examples of how that happened under the Democrats, where I'm going, yep, if we'd have did that, even under some Republicans, saying we could have avoided a lot of problems. And these are problems that I'm going, nobody see these are problems that we're going to have to deal with? Nobody? So we're just going to let that go ahead and develop? Unreal. So let's continue, though, because I was going to stop right now, but I'm going to go ahead and push it just a little longer, okay? Maybe like another 15, 20 minutes. Let's see what's going on, because, see, we want to know what our politicians are going to do for us, because not only are we doing stuff overseas, but this is what's going on domestically.
To the issues that matter.
Yeah.
The key question animating the midterms is this. Whom does the government serve? The hardworking citizens and legal immigrants who built the country and kept her strong? Or does it serve a collection of plutocrats and illegal aliens?
I can answer that one. Depends on what part of the government or who's running the government. Because if we're talking about conservatives right now, at least under Trump, I can say they serve the people. But if we're talking about the Democrats, they have proven who they serve. And boy, have they done it. They have done nothing but supported illegal immigration since Trump got in. I mean, not only did they cause it, but they are focused 100% on illegal immigrants. That is the core motivation of Democrats right now, protecting those illegals.
Well, we know where Schumer, Pritzker, and Newsom stand.
Oh, yeah?
They know they don't answer to you, they answer to somebody else.
Yeah, like who?
They answer to people who have corrupted this country. They answer to people who opened the border. They answer to people who got rich off of illegal immigrant labor. We want you guys to get rich off of the labor of American citizens.
Now that's the type of speech I like, JD. Calling that mess out, man. Yeah. So the Democrats ain't answering to us. That's why they don't care if the people are supportive of voter ID. They don't care about that mess. They don't care if the majority of people support, deportation. They don't care about that. They're not answering to them. They don't care if the majority of Americans are against children being transitioned. And they are completely co-opted by whatever woke ideology or people that run their party. So they don't care about us. They don't care that their voters really didn't get to choose who they wanted. We're going to give y'all what we want y'all to have. Yeah, we're not sitting there like Busta Rhymes. Baby, if you give it to me, I'll give it to you. I know what you want. You know I got it. They're like, nah, we give you what we want to give you. So let's go ahead and see JD, because see, JD's talking the language I like to hear, that America First language.
We want American workers to get rich for working hard, not illegal aliens.
Darn right.
Americans aren't stupid. They know what Democrats are most passionate about. They're most passionate about hating on ICE, promoting trans issues, and of course, trashing Trump.
That's all. That's all they're focused on. All they're focused on.
When these guys talk about illegal immigration and then watch a speech when they talk about manufacturing jobs for American workers, that doesn't give them passion. That gives Donald Trump passion. That's what we're fighting for in government. But you watch these congressional Democrats, what really fires them up, they get really mad at the idea that we're deporting illegal immigrants.
Real mad. Yeah, and then they get up there and lie to us when we say, well, we don't want them mooching off of our social structure. We don't want them, voting in our elections. We don't want them, receiving free housing, free health care, free, what else they get free? Free medical. We don't want them getting all of that. And you know what they tell us? That's not happening. So then when we do things to make sure it's not happening, then why do they have a problem with it? Why do they get a problem with it? If they're telling us none of these things are happening and it's already illegal and they're not getting this stuff, then why are y'all raising sand when we say, okay, cool, let's make sure. Let's put things in place to make sure what's not happening continue to not happen. But for some reason, that's unnecessary. You're doing that. And I'm going, whoa. Why are you getting mad? Why are you getting mad? See, that we're going to put a law in place to make sure Kevin's not stealing cars. That's what we're going to do. And I go, that's not happening. I'm not stealing cars. We're just going to make sure there's a law that says Kevin's not stealing cars. Fine. Put that law in place. I mean, because I'm not stealing cars. I'm not worried about it. But if I'm out there stealing cars, you know what? This right here is oppression. This is targeting me. And you know what? You don't need this law because, and I'm going, it sounds to me like you're stealing cars. That's what it sounds to me like. So let's finish hearing it because they get sure enough passionate about those illegals.
They talk about the dreams of illegal immigrants who have come into our country, but what about the dreams of you and your children?
Yeah, I like dreams.
That's who I'm fighting for. That's who Donald Trump is fighting for.
The left recoils at the idea that being an American citizen really has any significance at all.
Yeah. I mean, we no longer allowed to like being Americans and be proud of it and have dreams. I like dreams. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I traveled the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Y'all know the song. Y'all gonna be singing it all day at work, sitting on your computer. Some of them want to get you. Kevin, put that song in my head. But let's continue because I like to dream too, y'all. All right, what you guys say, Laura?
You don't get any privileges because they don't believe in the American dream.
What?
For them, the whole idea of America at all is played out. They believe, and they have for some time, that the idea of America needs to give way to a new global order.
What? The new global order? Wow. Interesting. Now, ain't that interesting? So now, to cause that new global order to take place, you have to demoralize and destabilize our current country. Yeah, you have to create enough morons and enough communists and enough, socialists and enough useful idiots that hate the country. You got to create enough of them to where they're willing to surrender our sovereignty to the one world government. You can't do that if we're going, why would we want to do that? We're happy the way things are. I mean, why do you want to step down when you're the top dog? Why do you want to share that right now? If you're handling it and wielding that privilege properly, okay, then why would you want to step down? You're going, I wouldn't trust, right now, I wouldn't trust that type of power in the hands of any other country besides us right now. Right now, under Trump right now. Yeah, let another raggedy Democrat or globalist get in power, then we might have a problem. But right now, I'm going, I'd rather the power be in our hands than somebody else. But let's continue, Lord, because she's dropping it.
Society run by an expert class, technocrats, international bureaucrats who order us around.
Yeah, like making me get that shot, which I didn't get.
Their dreams are that they want to impose on the American people. They look more like nightmares. Tiny houses, tiny families, tiny cars, little meat. You'll have what they'll allow you to have.
Now, is that what y'all want? But see, the useful idiots out there, they think that's a better option. We got all kind of them out there too. We got the radical useful idiots out there that's out, in the streets and stuff. Then we got the ones like in that church right there with Jesse Jackson, who don't realize that the Democrat agenda, it really is not going to benefit them. They're just blinded by racism. Might not be out in the streets protesting, flipping over cars and stuff, but they go right to that ballot box and vote against their own self-interest because of racism. Racism, there you go. See, so that's what they'll wake up, one day and say, wait a minute, what happened? The things aren't going great. And yet they'll still probably go down there and vote for Democrats thinking it's going to get better. Because all Democrats got to do is blame other people for their decisions, for their corruption. It wasn't us who put you in these little houses. It was somebody else. The racists, the white supremacists did it.
When we talk about the American dream, I'm not talking about my American dream. I'm talking about your American dream.
And see, that's what Democrats say. They say, no, that's not the American dream. He's talking about the white man's dream. See, when you're talking about the black man's dream, imagine all the Jerry curl juice y'all can have. Imagine all the fried chicken you can eat. See, that's how they stereotype us. Y'all can be out there all night beatboxing in the streets. Yeah, man, busting rhymes. I'm saying, getting your nails did. Yeah, going out there, kicking it with your stilettos on and your weaves and your long eyelashes. You can get all the eyelashes you want. Yeah, you like that. But whoa. Stay in that, government housing, though. Don't you be bringing no husbands up in that bad boy, okay? And drop about 8 kids out of wedlock so you can get more support from us. Now, we're not going to give you too much money to where you can get free from us. We got to keep you nice and committed and hung on to the government assistance, okay? All right? That's what we're going to do. And let you dream of what it means to be free, even though you don't realize you're already free as a black person in America. And you can get anything you want if you get out from under that slave mentality of the Democrat Party. But we can't let you know that. We can't let you know that. We got to make you think you one step out of slavery. That's what we got to make you think.
Whether you want to have a good job and raise a healthy, happy family, whether your kid wants to go off and play college football.
But that's the white man's
Whether you
dream.
want to start a business like the one that we're standing in, whatever it is, the great thing about this country is that the American dream comes in many shapes and sizes.
But see, they ain't gonna tell you that. They tell you anytime a white man's talking about the American dream, they talking about the white man dream. See, white man dream of white stuff. There it is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, see, you can't be dreaming like the white man, talking like the white man, getting educated like the white man, starting businesses like the white man. We don't want you thinking that white folks don't really have white privilege, because then you wouldn't be voting for us. You wouldn't be tolerating our race baiting and our division. You wouldn't be accepting the fact that just by being born white, you're better than us. You're better than us. You wouldn't be accepting that. See, so when you hear a white man talk about the American dream, you already know what they're talking about. The white version of America.
But here's the thing about the American dream. The government cannot give it to you for you. But the government, with bad policy and bad leadership, it can destroy that American dream.
Now stop talking like that. You know you got folks thinking government supposed to do stuff for me. Yeah, man, how am I going to survive without government stuff? More government in my life. That's what I want, more government. And because conservative values say, look, less government, more you, they try to make me do stuff. Now, you got all of these Democrats and these race baiters been telling me I deserve free stuff because of all the oppression I never suffered and all of the racism I never encountered and all of the slavery I didn't go through. You got them saying that and, making sure that I stay nice and ignorant mentally, so I don't start thinking that actually I'm the decider of my own destiny. I can actually, we don't want you thinking like that. We like you having that stinking thinking. Okay, JD Vance talking about the slave master stuff. Yeah, only they can have that.
Now, you saw this demonstrated at the State of the Union when the Democrats, they couldn't even stand for the most basic principles. In other words, that the interests of American citizens should come before the interests of non-Americans.
Look at that.
Republicans smartly jumped on this theme.
See, not only are these dummies not standing, but they sitting there with the stank look. They got to be sitting there like, why even come? Actually, I've been fine without none of them coming. But they sitting there just making it obvious that we care nothing about these things that make sense and should appeal to all Americans, like America being first.
In a new campaign commercial.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty
they gave us a gift.
The American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Now look at these folks. Democrats. Oh, look at the gargoyle. That guy with those big bat ears. Yeah, look at him. Whatever. Oh, look at that one. Look at that. See, trying to oppose Trump, they walk right into the trap. They've given us a wonderful ad. Dude's knocked out, ribs sleep, sitting there. They ain't even trying to hide it. They should be going, yeah, we do support Americans over, but no. So thank you, Democrats. Your TDS gave us a wonderful gift for the midterms. Yeah, look at that. You see Nasty Pelosi messing around with those dentures, that mush mouth. Always rolling those dentures around in there. Let's continue. Look at
these people are crazy.
Crazy.
Again, I agree with Brit Hume. That was the greatest line of the State of the Union speech. Really simply put, kind of blunt, but true.
Yeah.
And that commercial was well executed.
Beautiful.
Chuck Schumer and all those who came after him believe they can't achieve their progressive goals unless they radically change the U.S. population.
Of course. They can't achieve that with the way things are. We still got too many common sense Americans left. Yeah, so they got to demonize them by calling them extremists, the far right, these racists, and stuff like that. See, until they can replace us or at least get enough to where they can outvote us by cheating and using illegal immigrants. And then they can do whatever they want to us and bring in any radical changes and crazy ideas they want, change up that court and do all that stuff. And for some reason, our Republicans don't see they're not able to foreshadow this like I am. See, I'm saying, okay, they're acting like Iran because we done heard Democrats already tell us what they're going to do. And I'm saying, so we're just going to sit back and let that happen? All right, we're going to make sure we pack the courts. We're going to make sure we make Puerto Rico and Washington a state. We're going to make sure we get rid of the filibuster. And what are Republicans over here doing? That way, we don't want to go too far and come across. And I'm saying they're doing the same thing Iran did. You don't understand where they're going with this? You're not going to stop this? You're going to wait until it happens? And then you're going to be giving us all excuses. This is outrageous. The Democrats are this is unprecedented. You could have stopped it. They're going to definitely, restructure their voting. Oh, they're definitely going to give these illegal immigrants. They're going to give them some amnesty. Let's see. They're going to go and tell us what they're going to do. Here we go.
He had a good model in 2013, as you may remember, bipartisan. It toughens up the border. It gives a path to citizenship, a long, tough path to citizenship for 11 million people who are here.
He's doing what Iran did. Death to America. And that's death to America right there. If you give up the long path to citizenship to the 11 million people here. So, what are Republicans doing? You're not going to get that SAVE Act passed? You're not going to get that passed, right? You hear what they're going to do? Mess around and lose the House. Mess around and lose the Senate. And see what happens. See what happens. The man just said it. 11 million plus, and we already know it's more than that. And yet, what are we doing? Pooting and farting around.
It allows high-tech people who...
Look at him reading his lines. Look at him reading his lines, looking down at that paper.
...are needed in our industries to come in. That's the way to go, and the business community wants it.
Tonight.
Yeah, that's the way to go, and the business community wants it. Yeah, because it's cheap for them. So let's see how one business group have taken advantage of legal immigrants.
I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Yeah.
In the wrong direction. And instead of pulling over once they saw cars flying right at them, the witness says the semi sped up and was hitting 50 miles per hour.
What? Do you see this illegal immigrant that they gave a license to riding down the wrong way to highway like BJ and the Bear? Out there, rolling down the Dallas, feet beneath my palace. This dude out there like BJ and the Bear. Where's the monkey? Where's the monkey? Flying down the opposite way.
Going the wrong way for nearly 3 miles.
3 miles!
Miraculously, they didn't hit anyone, and Missouri Highway Patrol eventually pulled over that driver who had a legal commercial driver's license from Minnesota. But Highway Patrol says during that stop...
From Minnesota. There you go, ladies and gents.
Our commercial vehicle enforcement troopers conducted a driver inspection and determined the driver could not properly identify road signs.
Well, go figure. That dude's rolling down the Dallas. See, you got to be old school to know who BJ and the Bear is. So he's rolling down that bad boy with that big old steering wheel. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, you got to fight it to turn and all of that stuff. Yeah, probably mad at the people. Blowing their horn. Bam, bam. What are these people doing? They're driving the wrong way. Have no idea that he's going down there. I'm amazed that nobody got killed.
As mandated by federal motor carrier regulations, per federal motor carrier guidelines, he was placed out of service and not allowed to continue driving. Here's what we know about this particular trucking business. Cargo Transportation LLC is run out of an apartment in Hopkins, Minnesota, just outside Minneapolis. Wow. It was registered in 2023 to an Abdulwali Ahmed.
Abdulwali Ahmed. Huh. Oh, there you go. Definitely businesses would love the illegal immigration business. They definitely take advantage of it. Like Wali Ahmed right here, who's employing drivers who don't even know the signs. There you go. And Minnesota allowed it to happen. Minnesota allowed it to happen. Now, you think they cared about all the lives that are being risked right now with this dude rolling down the wrong side of the freeway? Rolling. Boom, 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 boom.
And only has 2 drivers, one of whom presumably can't read road signs. But still, last year the company drove more than 81,000 miles.
Wow! 81,000 miles without knowing the road signs is amazing that this man ain't killed nobody. Wow. I mean, this is unbelievable. Why is it easier for illegal immigrants to get stuff that Americans got to go through and prove that they actually earned it? I don't understand. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the one dude who became a superintendent. How did you do it? How did you get a darn commercialized license and you can't read the signs? I got a gut feeling. They said, come here. What's your name? And you know what? Never mind. It doesn't matter. Look, we're going to give you this license. Now, don't go out there and kill anyone, okay? All right? We want to make sure you guys are employed here. All right, next. What's your name? Frank. Frank what? Persek. Frank, sound like you have an American accent. Absolutely. I live right down the street. I was born here and raised here. Get out of here, Frank. That's what we want you to do. Now, you got to go through 18 months of training, pass 25 tests, make sure you get insurance and make sure you... But that one guy who we don't know who he is and what his name is, we just gave him one. We want to get him settled. We want to get him settled into America. Unbelievable, man.
We've reached out to both Cargo Transportation and Minnesota's Commercial Driver's License Division for comment. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration is now investigating this particular company as the administration continues its push to crack down on foreign nationals driving commercial semi-trucks on our roads after a number of high-profile fatalities involving drivers, several of whom have been in the country illegally.
Yeah. So, leave it up to Democrats. That's the future, y'all. If these midterms aren't handled correctly, this is the future. That's what we're going to be looking at. They don't care nothing about us. I mean, and apparently, these illegal immigrants don't care nothing about us either. Because apparently, when that one guy pulled that semi and tried to do a full-blown U-turn in the middle of the highway, I'm like, what were you thinking? Good grief. And looked shocked when the car ran into it. He looking like, what the heck was that? Had no emotions. They like, do you realize you just killed a car full of people? Can I go now? I just want my license back. No, you can't go. You just killed. Yeah, you look shocked. Unbelievable.
They're not undocumented. They're undocumented Democrats.
That's what they are. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, they're not undocumented. They're just undocumented Democrats. Because that's exactly what all of these millions of people would become. We just heard Chucky, old boy, spill the beans and told us the future.
Soon they would be. Look, the moment Democrats get back into the White House.
Man, I remember seeing all of this. I was so mad. Look at this. I'm getting mad looking at the pictures from the past. You see these folks just climbing over this stuff through the barbed wire, and that they will get on TV and lie to us. The border is secure. Get mad. They want to go down and cut the barbed wire down. You can't put that up there. We need to cut that down and make it easier for the illegals to come. I mean, this is a full-blown invasion. And they pulled this mess over on the whole country, lying to our faces the whole time. I mean, I don't know what the problem is. They're making a big to-do out of nothing.
House, we know what's going to happen. You're going to hear this for the next 8 months. Our borders are once again going to be thrown open. The offshoring of jobs to China and other countries will be encouraged. And I'll tell you, businesses, they're going to be thrilled. Because as soon as tariffs are gone and they can sign their factory leases overseas, they're going to fire hundreds of thousands of U.S. workers.
Yep. They're playing along with Trump right now, but they can't wait. They like, ooh, if we get Trump out of here, we can go back to business as usual. See, and that's why we got to keep the party going. We got to keep MAGA going. We can't let these folks win the midterm. Now, once again, it comes down to having a little foreshadowing. For all the dummies, though, they don't see this coming. Democrats got them distracted by Trump. Is a fascist Trump right here. Look what's happening. Look how bad things are. They got them all distracted by this. And hopefully, folks in the middle and folks on the right don't stay home, take it for granted. For you're talking about Trump, he didn't keep his promise, so now I'm going to go ahead and put Democrats back in charge. You know, I hope they don't do something stupid by letting folks like James Tallarico or whatever his name get in. Do you understand the catastrophe? Another Mandami. The catastrophe that would happen, you know, in our country. I'm doing foreshadowing. So is she. And I'm saying all of this will come back, but yet, like to the 10th power. Y'all don't get that? That's what you want? Then all of the folks will be complaining. How'd this happen? Oh, our cities are invaded and our jobs are gone. And I'm going, you wanted this. I'm surprised the folks in New York hasn't repented yet. They don't see what they got. I'm surprised the folks out in Seattle with that little Pop-Tart chick who ain't never had a job aren't starting to go, what have we done? I mean, it's fascinating to me. Why? Where's Virginia? Why aren't the folks in Virginia saying we voted in Abigail Hamburger and she's jacking up all the tax? What have we done? Why are people learning? But she's trying to warn us, and I'm trying to warn us too. Let's continue. We're almost done.
That's the America you can look forward to. Well, the CEOs who got rich building their factories overseas are playing nice now with Trump, but they're going to be ecstatic if someone like Kamala is back in office. Love that. And by the way, her take on Trump's speech was, like her take on everything else, vapid.
Here comes the drunk aunt.
I watched it. It was full of lies.
They always say that. You know that? It's full of lies. The biggest liars on the planet. Every time Trump, no matter what he says, the sky is blue. It's full of lies. Trump lies.
And, you know, when he wasn't lying, it reminded me of our kids going to show and tell at school.
Now, this is the same woman. I like Venn diagrams. You know, the ones with the 3 circles. And you know what? The children of the world are the children of the world. They're the children of the community. And she's talking about, sound like when the little kids go to school. Remember, Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is a bigger country. And they attacked a little country, and then and here she is. Unbelievable, man. Nothing but projection.
It was nothing that was true about really how.
Now, you know why she's lying? When she's shaking her head and saying the opposite. It was nothing but anything that was truth. Basically, my subconscious is telling on me. Everything that he said was true. But I'm sitting there telling you it's not, but I'm saying, yeah, it was true.
The American people right now, so many are suffering under the weight of high prices. Some people have said it was really quite boring.
Boring? She's talking about someone being boring?
Give us an example.
Well, since she was so successful in her public speaking, we should definitely listen to her.
Let's see.
The significance of the passage of time.
There it is.
Right? The significance of the passage of time.
Okay.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Wait a minute. I heard you say significance of the passage of time like 3 times. How many times you going to say the significance of the passage of time? Okay. Now you got me thinking about it, but all I can think about it is, wait, what is she talking about? The significance of the passage of time. What else?
Time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
Do you hear that? The time for us to do what we do every day is that time right now, okay? Because, see, time will pass you by, all right? Time flies. You understand that? And if you don't realize that time will pass you by, okay? So now, what was I saying about the significance of time? Unbelievable. See, but yet she was talking about Trump's speech.
Every day it is time for us to agree.
Please help me think of something to say. Please help me think of something to say. Oh, you know what I say? Please run again. Please, please. It's time.
I would like that.
The issues this year and moving into 2028, they just couldn't be clearer.
Yeah.
Do we want a government focused on making life better for the American people?
Yup.
Or do we want a government focused on advancing the billionaires' globalist agenda?
Every single day I go to work, and every single day Donald J. Trump goes to work, and we fight for the American dream for you and your family, however you define it. We would really appreciate you not sending us a bunch of crazy Democrats in November, so please don't do that.
Thank you. That's what's on the line. If America sent them a whole bunch of crazy Democrats in November, we're getting shut down. They ain't gonna allow nothing. Nothing will get passed.
Picking up on the crazy line from the State of the Union address. Very smart. And he's 100% right. After all, if the Democrats really had the answers, the big states that they are actually running should be flourishing.
But they're not. They're all trash. And we got all these examples. So if dumb Americans aren't able to look and say, well, wait, let's see what they've produced. Let's see their record. Let's see their management style. Then you deserve what you get. But don't involve me in that mess. Don't be in my state voting for these fools. We better go ahead and vote accordingly. And if you don't know what you're getting, just take a look at Virginia. Then take a look at California. Take a look at Minnesota. Take a look at that semi going the wrong way. Take a look at that.
But that's not how any of us would describe California, New York,
Chicago.
Illinois. So if we keep moving forward, if we don't go back to the failed policies of Biden and Harris and Obama, Americans actually have a real shot to fulfill their dreams in red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
And that's the angle.
And that's the angle. Yep. We got a shot if we stayed the course. We mess around and backslide, we're in trouble. Yeah, mess around and get caught slipping. Oh, man, what? It was voting day? Dang, my bad. Oh, wait, what? They won the House? Mess around and Republicans don't do what's necessary to block these Democrats from even having a chance at gaining power again. And they go ahead and dip their way into power. And see, I get it. Democrats don't care what their voters want either, but it seems like Republicans don't either. Here they have an opportunity. They got all these people behind them saying, The SAVE Act is necessary. And what are they doing? Oh, well, we got other priorities. We got things. And I'm going, this is a no-brainer. It's another layup for you guys. This ain't a controversial thing that could make you look bad. But yet, y'all aren't forcing the issue. It's bothering me. You see other Democrat states talking about redistricting, and I'm going, every Republican state should be redistricting right now. Yeah, to lock these folks out of business. Yeah, you see these Democrats hoping to catch us slipping and get back into power and open up nothing but endless investigations and hold up all the legislation. And I'm saying, get rid of that funky filibuster, because guess what they've done? They've told us what they're going to do if they get in power. See, you beat your enemy to it, like with Iran. So now when you hear Democrats saying, well, we're going to go ahead and open up the Supreme Court, we're going to do this, we're going to pack that. And I'm saying, why aren't y'all doing that? Do you think they're bluffing? Yeah, just like, do you think Iran was bluffing? Death to the America. For 47 years, they've been saying it. And 47, but they're just joking. They're just pooting and farting around. So I guess the Democrats are too. And then if they get back in power and do it. See, so I'm like, Republicans need to start listening. We got to get rid of these rhinos and get some folks in this about it. And they understand how serious this is. This is detrimental to the future of our country. So God bless you. God bless America. Thanks for kicking it with me this Monday. Guess what I might have to do, y'all? If I get these days off for bereavement. I got a cousin who died in New York. I'm like, oh, should I go? I need to go. But boy, that's a place that I said I ain't going back to until they clean that mess up. So I might have to go to New York over the weekend. I'm going to be riding through that mud. Like, oh, shoot. Okay. Make sure. Okay. Everything good? Back up. All right. Is that Dookie? Is that Dookie in the street? Okay. Is that human Dookie or okay. All right. Never mind. I'll just go around it. I'll go around it. So we'll see what happens. All right. But pray for me if I have to do that. But nonetheless, you'll hear from me more this week. And we'll continue to expose this nonsense that's going on around the country. And go from there. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. Share my videos. Follow me on all the other platforms. You want to support the channel? Help my Gotta Go to New York trip foundation. That'd be great. I mean, I already looked at the hotel price and I'm like, what is this? There's no hotel in the world that is this luxurious that should cost this. Man, I might have to hitchhike. Because I can't even afford the hotel room. It's unbelievable. The cost of New York. How do people live? How do people live in New York? And man, damn, he's talking about raising taxes. Unbelievable. I don't see how y'all do it. Anyway, it's all about the voting, though. It's all about the voting. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. Besides that, enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you guys next time in Kevin's Corner. God bless. Yeah, start spreading the news. This is awesome. Tear up the place, yeah. Take care.